Hey, this is Chris. Time for another Tire Side Chat. Haven't done one lately. I've been busy. We've been out of town the last 2 weekends for 3 days each. And when we've been home, we've been doing all kinds of stuff and just been busy as can be. And so have not had time to do one. I just wanted to talk about my latest repair episode, an iPhone 4S. You know, I hate iPhone 4Ss. They are a total pain to work on, and mainly just because a bunch of little tiny screws everywhere, and you have to be so careful when you're taking it apart to make sure you put them somewhere where they can't get mixed up. And they're so small I have to wear my super duper reading glasses. They're like 4X. So I can't even see what I'm doing. So I'm like hunched over this phone for like an hour just trying to get it apart, because I don't do very many of them because not many people have them anymore. I mean, compared to an iPhone 5, it is an absolute pain in the rear to work on. iPhone 5s, I like those. It's like, I think there's 12 screws altogether that you have to take out. iPhone 4 is many more than that, and it's much more complicated. And so, but my latest iPhone 4S quagmire, got the phone, got home, turned on the YouTube video, because it's, like I said, it's been a while since I've done one. And so, got a good overview of it. You know, any time I work on anything, I always, if there's a YouTube video to look at, I always look at it first, because I just need to, the last thing you want to do is make a dumb mistake on a phone and have to pay for a screen or pay for a motherboard or pay for anything that you don't, that you haven't charged for. And so got to work on, looked at the video, got to work on it, and got it apart without incident. I'd ordered a screen off Amazon, so we were looking pretty good. I think I got it apart in about 30 minutes. I thought it would take an hour, but I always try to allow extra time, and I never try to rush. So got the screen, and of course you have to put it about halfway together, not like an iPhone 5 where you can just plug the screen in and check it right away before you actually reassemble the first thing, which is what you want to do, because you want to make sure the screen's good, right? So, once you know the screen's good, then you put the thing back together. And so you got to put it about halfway back together, turn it on, and it comes on, the Apple logo, it looks good, and then it gets to the, where you do the pin number, and there is a spot in the lower center of the screen, and it looks like it's been scratched. I thought, certainly I did not, scratched not on the outside of the screen, but scratched on the back side of it. I thought, certainly I did not mess the screen up. I wasn't that careless. And so I turned the phone off and took the screen back out of the phone and looked at the back side, and there was no scratch on the back of the assembly there, like on the back of the backlight. And so, the only thing I could figure out, it was some kind of manufacturing defect. The back of the LCD had been scratched before the backlight had been adhered to it. And so that was a bummer. So got on eBay. Of course, I had promised the customer the phone that day. And so that was obviously out the window right then. So I really hated that a lot. Coffee's good. So fortunately it was fairly early in the day. Got back on Amazon, ordered another screen right away, had it overnighted. That sounds like extreme, I know, but having an Amazon Prime account, it's only $4 extra, so it's not that huge of a deal. I said, I'll eat the $4 if it gets me this screen tomorrow and I get it back to the customer with only a 1-day delay. So texted the customer, told him what was up. Of course, then went back to Amazon and filed a claim against the bad screen that I'd gotten. So I could get that returned and get my money back. And so, and then left everything exactly the way it was. And, went on and did some other things that day. Next day, the screen comes. I'm all excited. I sit down, I unbox. Of course, the first thing I noticed was that the screen did not come in a real box. It came in, it was like just a piece of folded over cardboard. And I thought, well, I guess that's just the way they're sending them these days, because the other one had come in actually in a box. So I didn't know what was going on there, but opened it up, got the screen out, and went to put it into the chassis, and noticed that there was a crack clear across the top of that screen because it just wasn't packaged properly. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. It's like these things are fragile, and they treat them like, they're not fragile. So now I'm like, all right, now I've got to call the customer back and tell them I'm going to be delayed another day, and maybe I can find somebody who can send me a screen overnight that's going to package it in a way that's not going to get broken or chipped or marred or otherwise screwed up. Just on a whim, I decided to check through all my old parts, and voila, I actually had an iPhone 4S screen of the right color. I couldn't believe it. It was from a repair I had done probably over a year ago, and I just never sent the screen back. It was something I ended up not needing, but I never sent it back. I just kind of put it in the parts bin and just kind of forgot about it. And see, that's how long it's been since I've done an iPhone 4. So I grabbed it. It looked good. It still had the plastic cover on it, so I took that off and installed it, put the phone back together, turned it on, voila, it worked. I couldn't believe it. And so I was able to finish that phone up, and yeah, what a nightmare. I mean, two bad screens on one phone. Who would have thought that would happen? There's just things you don't have control over, and you just have to do what you can do. But fortunately, I had that spare screen. I do keep spare screens for some phones, like iPhone 5s. I keep an extra screen for for the 5C and the 5S. I've got screens. And for a 6, I've got, both colors. Well, white and black. I mean, that's basically the two colors for the screens. So anyway, that was my latest repair thing, and so just thought I'd share that with you. It's just not supposed to be that hard. It's just not. But you can't control how people are gonna, the quality of the parts you're getting. There's no control over it, and I found it doesn't really do any good to pay extra for parts, because they're all coming from the same place anyway. It's just, China's cranking them out, and it's just a bunch of resellers after that. So, I mean, unless you get a genuine Apple screen, which no one wants because they can't afford it. So, nobody's going to spend that kind of money on a 3-year-old phone or a 4-year-old phone, or however old a 4S is. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you, and when I have more to talk about, hey, I'll make another video. I've got a few ideas for videos, and I'm going to try to start, putting them out on a more regular and consistent basis. I do have a couple more videos about CCleaner. I never did finish that series. I've got them on my computer. I just have to splice them together, because you've got the intro, and then you've got the actual part where I show you how it works. And so I'll do those. But until the next one, we'll see you later. Okay. Oh, please like and subscribe if you get something out of our videos. I appreciate it.